music's greatest songs. Greatest songs. Worth covering. Original classic hitmakers.
And this is one of the most interesting characters probably in the business, whether you like his music, whether you don't like his music, whether you like his politics or not, and how he puts himself together. French Montana has such an interesting past. He's not an artist that I knew loads about. I'm aware of him, but I don't know loads about him. So in terms of bringing him to you, I had to properly do my research. And all through the research, I was, Hass, how do you pronounce this? And Hass, what does this mean? So I've been doing a lot of that. But his real name is Karim Kabouche, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. He was born in 1984, and obviously we know him as French Montana. He's Moroccan-American. He has actually been made an American citizen now in the last 5 or 6 years. But he's from Morocco, born and raised in Morocco, and emigrated to America with his family when he was 13 years old. He founded a record label, and off he went, very productive. Years and years of independent material. He finally signed this sort of joint venture record deal with Puff Daddy's Bad Boy Records and Maybach Music Group as well in 2012. But it's really important to listen to his early life story because again, it's from the pavements, it's from the streets, it's from another country to the streets. Then it's a father who didn't stay, and it's all that kind of he, by the sheer grit and determination of him, has managed to keep his mum and his siblings alive. So Karim Kabouche was born on the 9th of November in Casablanca in Morocco. Grew up there on his family's estate just outside Casablanca. They lived there for the first 13 years. And when he arrived in America, he spoke, and this was one of the questions that I was asking Hass, he spoke only his native language of Moroccan Daraj. Okay.
Darji.
Darji.
Oh, Darji, yeah, which is like your language,
Okay. So he spoke that, and he spoke French, and that was it when he arrived. Learnt English from the streets and in the Bronx high schools. That's literally where he got his English from. So struggled quite hard for the first 2 years, he said. And after that, his father said, you know what, let's go back to Casablanca. This is too hard. His mother turned around and said, no, there are no opportunities there. We need to keep the kids here. They had 3 kids. And at this point, the dad went no, and he left. And he went back, departed from Morocco. So his mum, French Montana's mum, went, okay, let's go, drop down a gear, we're going to do this together. 3 children on her own, completely dependent on welfare for financial support. And it was then, and soon after, that French Montana eventually found himself the breadwinner of the family and has kept his family alive. His career started as a battle rapper. So in his teens, he was called Young French, and had to really kind of grind and work for it. But his career is huge. So you've got interviews in Rolling Stones where he talks about a friend called Harry Fraud. Harry Fraud, big musical family background, and was interning at a recording studio. They met at this recording studio, and they were in New York, and they were doing this thing together. They'd only just met, and this unusual turn of events actually brought them together. So the building was raided while they were in there by police, because there was a tip-off that they were making counterfeit Gucci and Louis Vuitton purses in the building. Now, whether that was true or not, don't know, but it wasn't to do with French Montana and Harry Fraud. It sort of happened, but there they were found without a studio, and off they went to find themselves another venue, and they stayed together ever since. He teamed up with Akorn, who of course we interviewed a couple of years ago when he came to Sharjah, and that was really interesting speaking to Akorn. But he signed to, they had a mutual friend, Gabby, and as a result he met Akorn, and he signed to Akorn's label as well, so lots of crossover there. And he's had huge amounts of success, lots of albums, lots of signing, lots of mixtapes, lots of this and lots of that. He's a businessman, and he does it well. Personal life, he actually, because he's fluent in Arabic, he's fluent in French still, and now he's fluent in English. He actually cites being a dad.
Not really fluent in Arabic. Met him a couple of times.
Oh, really? Is he not?
No, I'm not saying 100%, but I wouldn't say fluent.
Okay.
More like a he knows how to get his way around. Not 100% fluent.
Right.
Like,
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's cool. Don't get me wrong, but it's just not. I wouldn't say fluent. More
Right.
like when you know, like
When you know a lot of words and you can get by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, but
Okay.
he's Moroccan, obviously.
Okay.
He's a lot of Moroccan people appreciate him. Like he's it's interesting you're talking about him because obviously I'm not sure if you're gonna mention that, but like one of the things that really got him was actually documenting the streets of New York and actually doing interviews with rappers and upcoming rappers. He had a YouTube show, and he used to do interviews with people and have them spit and rap and stuff like that. And he's actually now signed to the same label as The Weeknd, so it's the same circle.
Because The Weeknd's a good friend of his.
Yeah. So Sal, and he manages The Weeknd, manages French Montana, manages another people, Masari, and it's a lot of very Arab / Africa power in terms of that. These are the most powerful artists. Like The Weeknd is one of the biggest.
Yeah.
He's not. He's African. French Montana, Moroccan.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of that. One thing I would like to say before you go on, I've met French, and the only thing I'm a bit disappointed in him, he's never really went back to the region and brought someone from here.
Right.
It's always been him and his circle in America. And a funny story. He went to Egypt to play a gig.
Okay.
And when he went to Egypt to play a gig, there's a couple of Egyptian MCs that opened for him.
Right.
Abi Yusuf, and there's another guy called Afrutu. Amazing Egyptian fans. Obviously they opened for him.
Yeah.
And when French Montana came on, everyone left.
No.
Yeah, which is a sign of like, like just,
Brilliant.
wow.
Yeah.
Not everyone, but most of the crowd kind of dispersed.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting how he's seen in this region.
Yeah.
And people love him in the UK. People love him in the United States. People love him in Morocco. Don't get me wrong. He sells out Morocco.
Right.
I'm just saying, as a power man like that,
Yeah.
it would have been amazing to bring somebody also from the region. Because when I talk to him, he's like, yeah, we're... Anyway, but he has his own lifestyle as well that I don't personally agree with.
Yeah.
And he has his own kind of mentalities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my rant over French Montana. But
No,
yeah,
I like it.
French
So I was going to
Montana.
ask you about that. And what do you think of his music? Because you're a huge supporter.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is his biggest song for me. That's the one that kind of transcended, and people know French Montana outside the rap battle and stuff like that. It's the same as Logic when people started knowing the suicide track and the mental health record. This is where people got to know Logic. But Logic has a he has substances in music. With French Montana, it's the same thing. Girls, cars. That's the whole music.
That's the vibe. Okay.
And again, don't get me wrong, to each his or her own, but that's the kind of music I'm not a fan of, like as me.
Okay.
I'm not saying you or anyone listening.
No,
this
fine,
is, I think, the... just the energy that he brings out. But Unforgettable was a track that obviously, and even the video was shot, I believe, in Kampala, Uganda.
Yeah.
An incredible
video.
Record. Yeah.
Incredible video. And actually, it makes the song completely different. When you do check it out, because you will have heard this song play on Pulse 95, and I'm going to talk about its success in a minute. But actually, go and watch the video and see the song through the eyes of the video, because then you get the real. And it's wonderful that the people that they've shot for the video. It's great. So French Montana describes the following people as being his influences, and this is quite interesting. So it's the normal crew. It's Tupac, it's the Notorious B.I.G., Nas, Snoop Dogg, Wu-Tang Clan, all of those, and then he went into Adele and Amy Winehouse, which I quite like. He also likes Florence and the Machine, Lana Del Rey. Every now and then they throw in something like that. But yeah, everything Hass has just said is everything I was reading about. And when I'm actually going through his music, because it would have been nice for me to play a different song, because I'm very familiar with this song from Pulse 95. But actually, French has this style of doing stuff, and if you go through the whole song to make it radio friendly, you'd actually lose half the song. So this was a radio friendly version of his biggest hit. And let's talk about this, called Unforgettable. And it's sung by him, featuring, now this is where I'm going to need you again, because I need your expertise, Hass. I'm going to muller these names.
You got to say it, Fab.
Well, I will try, but then you need to correct me.
No, I'm not correcting.
Don't just leave me out in the cold.
Yalla.
Ray
you guys get to correct it.
Sremurds.
Who?
No. Ray Sremurd and Sway Lee.
Yeah, the second one was right.
Okay.
I don't know. The first one wasn't even mentioned. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
SREMMURD. Sremurd.
Maybe he's the producer. I don't know.
The hip-hop duo. It's with Sway Lee.
Yeah, it's one. I mean, French Montana featuring Sway Lee. But you said another third name right now.
This is a hip-hop duo with Ray Swimmerd and Sway Lee.
Wow, no idea.
I don't know. Released through Epic Records, Bad Boy Records, all of the good stuff, and was the lead single from his second studio album, which was called Jungle Rules. He also had No Pressure on this particular album. Did super well. It reached the top 10 in 15 different countries: Australia, Canada, Denmark, France, Germany, Ireland, Norway, Scotland, Spain. The list goes on. Switzerland, Sweden, UK loved him, just as Hass said. He leaked the song, apparently. They leaked it in 2016. That's how they're describing it, in the November of 2016. And it was later remixed and mastered and released officially later on in 2017. So let's have a listen to this. Now you know a bit more about French Montana, of course, from Morocco, and the streets of New York. But go and watch the video.
It's Yalla Home.
With Ana Schofield
and Big Hass.